Elden Ring Shadow of the Ertdree has gotta be one of the greatest experiences you could have playing video games. And I've played my fair share of video games. But the reason that makes this one so special is the care and effort put in by From Software, which not many games have, especially nowadays. I'm talking about you, Ubisoft. I know what you've been doing with Rainbow Six Siege and the new Assassin's Creed game, but that's something for a different day. Because we're going to be discussing an albeit flawed masterpiece, but if not, one of the greatest gaming experiences you could have. Because the gameplay is what makes or breaks these games. And this one, it definitely made it. Especially the experience you have with these bosses. And these have to be some of the most unique and interesting designs out there. But what is a good boss without great lore? And the lore of these ones just prove that they're the freakiest in FromSoft's history. This is Seismic from the future, and this first part is a little rough because I did have a shitty mic, but I did get one later, so you have been warned. But please enjoy the video. All these bosses, the type of people you'll find at a Diddy party. That's how freaky they be in this DLC. Screw that, this game, because it's a full-blown experience. So I decided to come up with a totally original idea. I'm going to be ranking these bosses based on the freakiness of their design and their lore. One more thing before we begin. Make sure to like the video, because that really helps out the channel, and the future of me making more videos. So we'll get to the tier list right now. And here we are. As you can see, I threw together a list of all the remembrance bosses, because I would like to keep it simple, for this one at least. And what better boss to start off with than the Divine Beast Dancing Lion?
O horn-decked beast from higher sphere delivered, take root inside the tower sculpted keepers, and perched within, we beg of thee, rise. Dance kavod, cleanse all, cruelty, woe, and those who plague the tower. Cleanse away the strumpet's fire.
I gotta say, for one of the few cutscenes we got in this DLC, this one's easily one of the coolest. Because it really sets up the feel of this boss. Is it an animal? Is it a machine? What's going on here? What's the deal with it? And some modders actually found out what hides beneath the cloak of this thing. And it's not no lion. It's literally just two dudes in a fucking costume. One of them is face first into the other one's ass. What in the human centipede type shit is this? Yeah, no, literally with the cloak off. Looks like that stupid sauna scene from The Boys Season 4. Which is horrendous, but that's what it is. For all these reasons described, I'm gonna have to give this thing's freak Matson. It's really getting down with the freakness. And for that, I'm just gonna have to throw it in S tier. Cause what's better than two fellas going at it in a suit? Than nothing. If that ain't freaky, I don't know what is. Who do we got here? R'hllana, the Twin Moon Knight. This is a tough one. Because I don't know, she ain't got that much going on for her. I mean, she did kind of abandon her entire family and her magical carrion royal bloodline just so she could come get some mesmer snake. She wanted to see mesmer snakes pretty bad. But that ain't too freaky. Because she ain't even get nothing. She ain't even get nothing. She's just some stupid hoe who abandoned her life for Mesmer. And Mesmer said, nah, I'm too busy chilling at Diddy crib. I ain't got time for you, girl. And then that's what happened, dude, so. I mean, she does have, like, one cool attack. The ball dropper. But that ain't too much. Her design's also pretty plain, too. Not really too much going on there, either. I mean, she is just a discount Pontiff Solovid. Or remastered, depends how you look at it. So, I'm just gonna have to throw her in D tier. Because, yeah, she ain't that freaky. And it's fitting anyway, she's going in D tier. Because at least that way she could somehow get some. Okay, now we're talking. Bale the Head Dread? Okay. Now this guy's pretty freaky. His entire lore? Phenomenal. Bro thought he could pull up on Placidity laps, but he never stood a chance, dude. All he did was get his ass beat, his leg taken, and his wings clipped. But he did get one trophy, which bro was so horny for. He caused a generational beef between the Drakes and Kendricks. I mean, Ancient Dragons. Because Bale decided to take two of Placidusax's heads amongst their fight. And those are the trophies he claimed from him. So he wanted head that bad from the Dragon Lord. He literally took two of them. And they got his whole race condemned. If that's not freaky, I don't know what is. And you literally meet one of Placidusax's soldiers. Ingon, the Drake Warrior. Which you could summon during the fight. And he has some of the best lines in any game I've played.
Curse you, Bale! I hereby vow you will rue this day. Behold, a true Drake warrior, and I, Egon, your fears made flesh. Solid of scale you might be, foul dragon, but I will riddle with holes your rotten hide with a hail of harpoons, with every last drop of my being.
What more is there to say? Bale is both peak and freak. If this was just off of coolest boss list, he'll be S tier. But because it's freakiness, I'm just gonna throw him in B. We all knew this one was coming. We saw it, the writing on the wall. Mesmer the Impaler. He impaled everything but R'hllana. Ooh, that sucks. But yeah, Mesmer, poster child of the DLC. Basically, that advertising piece. They literally gave him his own statue. That cool of a boss. And that freaky too. His fight, you find him trapped in his goon cave. On top of Shadow Keep. He's just sitting there thinking he's Batman and shit. All held up in his room. Because his mom abandoned him. That's his lore. Believe it. Believe it or not.
That tarnished, it seemeth. Mother, wouldst thou truly lordship sanction in one so bereft of life? Yet, my purpose standeth unchanged. Those stripped of the grace of gold shall all meet death. In
Seeing that cutscene right there makes me wish the game had a lot more. But still, it was fucking weird. He wanted to strip us of the grace of gold. I didn't know Mesmer was like that too. And you can't even blame the guy for being this freaky. It was his own mom who put him on this path. Cause if it wasn't for America and a rage boner for the horn scent, so what? They were turning your people into jars. Okay, and? That's not that big of a deal. Okay, they're just getting whipped with a whip covered in teeth so they could meld better. Okay, whatever. You're just overreacting. So, because of all this, she decided to send Mesmer and all of his armies, and he was a well-respected guy. All of his troops loved him. They'd followed him to the end of the earth. Like, look at that, even Rolana went all the way out there. But his whole purpose of being here is just to exterminate the Hornsent people. As well as any tarnished who've been stripped by the grace of gold. Yeah. That's a little bit freaky. And that's not all that's up with Mesmer. He was actually cursed since birth to have the Abyssal Serpent, some snake creature, writhing around inside of him. Bro took "they're under my skin" literally, as he actually got shit crawling around beneath there. And this shit's front and center as you see him change into phase 2.
I will not suffer. Our Lord, devoid of light. No, Mother. Forgive me. Soon tarnished. Wilt thou be taken in the jaws of the Abyssal Serpent, shorn of light?
So not only were you stripped by the grace of gold, but now he rips out his own eye, and doing that burns all his clothes off? Alright, dude, what the hell is this game? This is a little bit too freaky at this point. Because now he summons all these fucking snakes, and his red snake turned white? So what, now he's just running around with a white snake hanging out? Bro, someone's gotta come put him down for demigod indecency. And that's exactly what we're here to do. Because we're going to take his fire, and we're going to burn down that fucking tree, and we're going to go kill Mikola. That's what's going to happen here. And I don't care how freaky the bosses got to be. None of them have yet to match the freak of a real Elden Freaker. With that all done and said, I've been talking about Mesmer for way too long, so it's about time I move on to the next one. But before that, gotta decide where I'm gonna put him. And I mean, he is definitely one of the coolest bosses in the DLC. And he's pretty freaky too. So, I'm just gonna have to put him in A tier. I think that's fair. As for who we have now, Commander Geisas. This is one of the most bullshit bosses in the game. Until they fixed him, he would spawn directly in the center and already be charging at you the moment you enter the arena. Luckily they fixed that, but other than that, he's literally just Hog Rider who could use gravity magic. His boss fight's kind of cool in his arena, but there's not really that much going on with him. Except for his lore, which went on to explain that he was taught by the same Alabaster Lord that taught Radahn. So that's cool more than anything. Not freaky though. I guess kind of funny. So, since Commander Gaius is an Albinoric actually, his legs withered away, so they thought it would be funny to make pants for his armor set that you pick up later that just says, Black Iron Greaves made for Commander Gaius, a cruel joke for he could not wear them. It just goes on to say that like he called the boar his other half. What else more is there to say? I guess just that his armor set is fire though. I rocked it for like the majority of my first playthrough once I beat this boss. But with that all said, I think it's time to rank him. Now since I've got it all pulled up, I think I'm just gonna give him C tier honestly. If this was a coolness list, or like how good of a fight it is, I'll just give him B. Since it's not, I'm just gonna leave him where he is. The Ertdree avatar. This boss was a genuine treat for me, because it just came out of fucking nowhere. I was just wandering through Shadow Keep, and then boom, I ended up in some piss-covered arena at the base of the Ertdree. Fighting some, what is this, some Plants vs. Zombies ass boss? What is this, the fucking Mega Sunflower from Driftwood Shores? Okay, I didn't know PopCap was working on Elden Ring. Or should I say Freak Cap? Because this boss attached like this weird ass kid at school who would just slam his head into the desk for no reason. So that's what this thing fucking does. All it does is just bash its sunflower into the damn ground. And then for some reason, From Software thought it would be a good idea to give this thing 3 phases. This is the first boss in the game with 3 separate health bars. Well, not in the game, but in FromSoft history. The freakiest part about this is the fact that they used it on a sunflower. That's the boss they decide, yeah, we're gonna have 3 phases. It's this stupid ass sunflower. And the only freakiest thing about this is the fact that it blows up. In its 3rd phase, when it spawns in, all it does is self-destruct. And then you gotta fight a little bit of the health that's left. It's nice to see a cool Plants vs. Zombies reference, but overall, it's an alright boss. Not too freaky, not too unfreaky, but honestly, I'm just gonna have to rank the Ertdree avatar in C tier. Alright, Mike updated to talk about this character. Midra, the Lord of the Frenzied Freak, otherwise known as the fucking lobotomy guy. You just find him with this giant ass spear to the tip of his head, and it goes out through the rest of his body, shooting out spears everywhere, leaving him in a state of agony for which he endured for who knows how long, thus earning him the title of the freakiest masochist of all time. And the cutscene shows you everything.
I have endured more than enough. I ask you forgive me, dearest Nanaya.
That's it. The freakiest boss in the game, Midra, Lord of the Frenzied Flame. Fellow ripped his own head off just to get the sword out of him. And not to mention his fit. What is bro wearing? That is literally just like a bed sheet. So let me think this through. You're fighting a nudist masochist whose head is a ball of fire and weapon is a sword that was impaled inside of him. Yep, that's it. You won. Freakiest boss, Midra. Sat here for who knows how long inside this dark room, trapped in a house that's locked in the abyssal woods, which is the only place in the game where you cannot summon Torrent because he is scared. But what the hell is a freak without a great soundtrack? And the Lord of the Frenzied Freak has one of the most eeriest and just overall uncomfortable sounding soundtracks in the game. Like, listen to this shit. That'll make your skin crawl a little bit. I don't know what will, because that shit is wild. Just the music to this boss just adds to the uncanniness and freakiness of this creature. Almost as if it's alien at this point. As if the frenzied flame is using his body as a lifeless husk to be its vessel. With that said, let's rank him. Although you probably have all seen this one coming. S tier. One bonus part, his weapon does the exact same thing that happened to him. So in multiplayer, when you're fighting enemy players, you just jump up in the air and slam the sword through their skull. It's actually pretty sick. After spending 30 minutes falling through the sky, you enter this giant arena covered in purple flowers. And you find this fucking skeleton riding this cum horse type thing. Like, look at this thing. It's literally sinking into the ground. Throwing its weapon, this boomerang that looks like it's made out of human skulls. And this fight is blatantly not fair. It fucking pissed me off because this thing's gay as hell. It gets off this horse and it starts spinning around like a fucking Beyblade. And then the horse starts charging at you too at the exact same time. So you're getting like pinchered maneuvered from this freaky ass skeleton who's just been down there doing jack off for who knows how long. And you can't even get to this boss until you reach the Shadow Keep, because it's guarded by like Mikola or some shit. Because at the bottom here, after you somehow defeat this thing, which took me who knows how long, because I had lost count, you find Mikola's other half, Saint Trina, some flower girl or something. I don't know, that's all that remains of it. And then this thing just sits here blocking you. You can't even get to it. Thinking it's some kind of knight, which I guess that's what the boss name is, but I don't know. It's just some freak down there. And I can't talk about it for too long because most of my footage is just me getting boned by this thing. It's just whooped my ass because for some reason this is one of the hardest fights in the game, for me at least. Then it also has this freaky ass attack where it swells up with all the putrescent shit and then just blows its load everywhere as it covers the arena with blue fire that just freezes your ass. And the freakiest part of this boss was the fact that I didn't find it till it was almost at the end of the game, because the whole area was blocked off for me the first time I went there. I completely forgot about it. That's probably because like the story surrounding it just sucks and there's no cutscene. But I mean, it is freaky, and if I didn't forget about it, it would have definitely been higher. But since it's not, I'm just gonna throw it in C tier. Talk about freaky, we got Romania Saint of the Bud, or what I would like to say, wasted freak potential. This boss was all hyped up in the DLC trailers, just for us to get nothing. No cutscene, nada. We're just stuck here with this nun who got all freaky with the Scarlet Rod. Became half centipede, scorpion, butterfly, and all this shit in one. Man, I don't know what it is, but someone on From Software has a thing for half bug ladies. Because over the course of Dark Souls history and all their other previous games, because they've been having these half bug-like people in almost every Souls game I've played. And I think I'm finally starting to understand why. Just look at all those nades on that centipede. Ooh. You might have to add me to this freakiness list after seeing those. Not to mention that attack where she spins around summoning a bunch of explosive rot butterflies. What a thing of beauty that is. Sad to say, but again here, the freakiness of this boss is almost all surface level. Which is fine, but it just adds to the game feeling half-baked. It's almost as if it needed more time to really show how freaky they could get. From what I've noticed, from the base game to the DLC, is that most of these bosses are just remixed versions of one from the base game. Like Romania here is just, what if Melania accepted the Scarlet Rot and worshipped it? And that's basically what we got here. But what if she had a freaky ass grab attack where you get wrapped up by the centipede and then stabbed with the scorpion stinger, basically forcing you to get Scarlet Rot. But besides that, this boss only serves one other purpose, and that is to gatekeep you from getting to the final area in the game. Cause you gotta beat her and Mesmer. Those are the only two bosses you gotta fight, guaranteed. Cause afterwards you gotta use the Flame of Diddy to burn down the tree shrouding the final area in shadow. With that cutscene watched, maybe Romania served more of a purpose than I thought. So, in honor of that, I'm gonna give her A tier. Alright, what the actual fuck is that thing? What is that? Metter, the mother of all things fingering? What were they even thinking when making this? Like, look at it. This thing is freaky as hell. Where does Metter begin and fingers stop? You can't tell, because it's all fingers. And you're telling me this thing is the mother of every finger we've seen? So, like, even the 2 fingers? 3 fingers? Finger creepers? Apparently she's the mother of them all. So because of how freaky and influential the 2 fingers are, this boss is basically the centerpiece of the entire game. As without Metter, we wouldn't have no Elden Ring, or all the shattered factions, because each of the demigods were given their own 2 fingers, and they all listened to Metter. And with her just chilling in this cave, she'd just be giving fingers to everyone. Like, you could get fingered, and you get fingered. Ronnie, you could get fingered. Mikola, you take some fingers too. Everyone gets their own fucking fingers. Even the Tarnished. That's what you find at a Round Table Hold. 2 fingers that guide us throughout our entire journey. So they're the epicenter of this entire game, making Metter the root cause of all the freakiness in the lands between. Metter is the type of boss you would find in Yoshikage Kira's streams. 'Cause there's so many fingers to go around, and hands, there's no limit to what your mind could imagine. But there is what I imagine, and that is that Metter is S tier for freakiest boss of all time. Even freakier than Dancing Lion and Midra. That leaves us with only one boss left. Well, it's been a long journey, and it's about time I wrap this up. Psych, we got one more boss left. Honorable mention, Black Knight Geru, who you find at the Fog Rift Fort. And he doesn't seem like much because it's just a Black Knight, until he whips out this long-ass tongue, which appears to be one of those aspects of the Crucibles. But sadly, this is one of 2 new ones that were added, but we cannot unlock them in the DLC. They're only used by enemies. So that just means From Software has to make a new DLC now. It's the only way. Because I need to use this tongue in PvP or a challenge run, beating the game with only licking them to death. That'd be a great idea. So From Software, come on, get to it. I know it can't be that hard to make another one. That's why Black Knight Geru is getting his own special tier of what that tongue do. Cause I got questions. What the hell does that tongue do?
My loyal blade and champion of the festival. Both your deeds will ever be praised in song. Now, the vow will be honored, and my lord brother's soul will return, so that he may be my consort.
And here we are, folks. The final boss in the DLC. Radahn, who was the victim of Miquella. And not just Miquella, it was us too. Because throughout the entire base game, everything regarding Radahn and Mohg was a meticulously thought out plan where we were Miquella's pawn all along. And who Miquella is, if not the Griffith of Elden Ring, he is his own unique beast. For Miquella wields the ability to charm any character. Even Drake himself was a victim of Miquella's charm. That's how much of a freak Miquella is. And he even gave Mohg the Dr. Disrespect allegations. But turns out, in the end, it was Mohg who was Miquelested all along. And it's not just the bosses who was affected, it's even some of the NPCs we meet along the way. Like Tholier, Ansbach, Freya, they've all been charmed. That's why you find them all moving as a unit, talking about kind Miquella or kindly Miquella. They've all just been brainwashed. And even you could get brainwashed. During the fight, once you reach that second phase, if you get grabbed by Radahn and Miquella twice, you just get your heart stolen. Which you don't die, you just lose the fight. But you're probably wondering, who is Miquella? Like, I've only seen Radahn so far. Well, once you get him down to half health, this cutscene plays.
brother. At long last you are returned. Tarnished one. Aspiring lord of the old order. If you have known sin, if you grieve for this world, then yield the path forward to us. To I, Nicola, and my promised consort, Radahn.
As you see in the cutscene, Mikola appears out of that gate that's been sitting in the back of the arena the entire fight. In like some ancestral, like, transparent ass form. Alright, let me go into why this is the freakiest boss in the entire game. Even freakier than like everything we talked about before. So for the way that this fight is to happen, first we needed to kill Mohg, right? And then after that we had to have Radahn killed at the exact same time. And then what that did for Mikola in the story is that he took Mohg, his brother's body, and put Radahn's soul into it, who is also his brother, just so he could make him his consort. What in the incest ass shit is this? And not to mention the fact that Mikola is said to be very childlike of appearance. So, we got fucking incest groomers as the final boss in the game? What the hell were they thinking? Like, this is some Drake-ass type energy. And then it doesn't help its case that once we beat this, once we beat Mikola and Radahn, literally nothing happens. We just get a cutscene that explains, yeah, I wanna bang my brother. That's it. And worst of all, the whole point of even having an additional cutscene after the game is to try to explain why it makes sense that this is the final boss. Like, there was no build-up for this in the base game. Like, if anything, it should have been like Godwin, or literally anybody else. I guess that's what makes it the freakiest boss, though. It's the most out-of-pocket and unexpected. Like, we would have never guessed that Radahn would have been a consort to Mikola, his own brother. Yeah, I don't think so, Chief. I'll say, for what the game lacked in a good story, it made up for in freakiness. And with that, I think I'm gonna throw Radahn and Mikola in Drake tier. Yup. With the Great Rune of Drake, Mikola was the freakiest boss of them all. With that, the definitive Elden Freak tier list is complete. So, let me know what you think of it. Maybe give me a like if you feel like it, or don't. But, yeah, I'll catch you next time.